All right, Lada. Lada. Let's see. So, for my ethics project, I have to interview you and your mom about like your community. And I know that since you live here now, but you were born and you were raised in Ukraine and everything like that, as well as your mom. You guys came at the same time about 4 years ago. So feel free to refer to Ukraine and everything, because that is where you call home and everything. And then I also want you to talk about like this local community and how you feel about this local community. So for the first question, how has the local community changed over time? Please be specific about what part of the city you are referring to. So since it says local community, why don't you just start talking about PV? Yeah.
PV.
Yeah, and then when you want to talk about Ukraine and everything, just start.
So there's no actually Ukrainian community in PV. There's literally like 3 Ukrainians that live on the hill, overall in total. So most of the community is located in like Irvine mostly, together with like Georgian and Armenian people, and like Hollywood and closer to like the downtown LA. That's where the Ukrainian house is located. Ukrainian cultural house is located, and that's where like most of the immigrants live right now. And how it was changing? Well, before war started, there's like even less Ukrainians in California. So when I moved, which was a little bit before the war, there was literally just me, who was Ukrainian on the hill, and then later on, like 2 other families joined, and then obviously like a lot of people moved from Ukraine. So the LA community in general grew a lot after the beginning of the war.
Okay. And then how about Ukraine? I know that the only reason why I'm emphasizing Ukraine and everything is because of the war, and how did your town, Dnipro, change since the war started, or since your childhood, or anything like that?
Well, since my childhood and since the war started, a lot of people moved together. Like I moved as well, but a lot of people moved. So the town looks kind of dead now. Like it used to be very like full of life, and it felt like a beehive. Everyone was running around their business and everything like that. And since the war started, it just became more dead, and like nothing. The life is not as active there, obviously, with like all the sirens, the air
sirens for the war, like the alerts and everything, for bombing alerts.
They usually like happen like every 3-4 hours there.
Yeah, I would assume that because you guys are in current war over there.
But the community changed as well. Like in the beginning of the war, people were very motivated to like fight, and also they were still like really caring about the safety, so they would go in the shelter. But later on, people are just not even going to the shelter after a while, even though the sirens go on. And
they just stay in their homes.
Yeah, they just stay in their house.
They just don't, because they
don't care anymore.
Because they don't really care anymore. They don't see like they see the threat and everything.
The threat is there. People are dying.
Obviously, but they're just thinking like, oh, if it's like
if it
hits us,
yeah,
whatever now. So they don't really care anymore.
Yeah.
They're not as passionate to get involved and to protect. Because I would imagine how exhausted they are.
Unless they have kids, they don't even go into the shelter.
Oh, really?
Anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then tell me more about like how it changed from when you were a little kid up into the war and everything, because I know with the war a lot of things have changed. So with the however many years, 13, 15, 14 years that you were living in Ukraine and everything prior to the war starting, prior to you moving, how can you remember any like significant changes with the community?
President change actually was a lot. So basically, when Zelensky became a president, actually our infrastructure grew a lot. So like my hometown and my city actually like got new parks, new like alleys, new school got a lot of improvements. Like our schools got like renovated and stuff like that. A lot of new cafes opened. A lot of like, especially in the downtown where I was living, a lot of new cafes, a lot of new like buildings were built, a lot of new.
So basically, with the the new president, Zelensky or whatever his name is, he basically helped gentrify your city.
I don't know if it was specifically him because obviously it's not just him. It's like
obviously, but it's just under his administration.
Under his administration.
So he was helpful to you guys.
Yeah. Okay. The town definitely became more like pretty and everything like that.
Would you say that your previous president, if you remember, would you say that your previous president wasn't as...
He was corrupting much more. And he was making it... The corruption was worse. And he wasn't even... Like, I feel like Zelensky is still, like, obviously taking some money to himself. Which is, like, a Ukrainian thing. Like, the government always takes money to themselves. Yeah. And, like, the stuff like that. But, when Zelensky came, like, this corruption became less visible, if that's... makes sense. Like, the things were improving, so people were less mad about the corruption.
Oh, okay. So they saw that, they knew that he was also a little bit corrupted and everything. The government was still a little bit corrupted, but at least he was doing other things to help the community strive and be more gentrified, right? Yeah. Okay, let's see.
Also, the fact that he was, like, comedian, actually, and, like, a public figure, actually really helped since the beginning of the war because he made the war so public and so... Oh, and he got much more help from other countries because he made it so public.
Through his
just like public speeches and like ability to make it public, you know what I mean?
Oh, so like since he was a comedian,
get attention.
Since he was a performer and everything like that, you are saying that because he was a performer, he had certain skills to broadcast information and like request help for the war.
Yeah, okay. Because if other president was there, they probably would just run away. But he actually brought attention, and actually, I bet he's a big part of why Ukrainians are like Ukraine is still standing.
Oh really? Yeah. So if the war started with your previous president, do you think that it would be going?
I believe it would be already a part of Russia at that point.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. So, that is Dnipro. How about Kyiv? Kyiv is the capital of Ukraine.
I've been to Kyiv, like, multiple times.
How about, I mean, I know it's not more local anymore or anything like that since you're in America and you never lived in Kyiv or anything, but I know that you visited there. Yeah. Is it also, like, the similar lines as Dnipro and everything like that?
About what?
Like, the change throughout the years.
I'm not sure about Kyiv, but I feel like all over Ukraine, actually, one more thing that I remember is that people started speaking Ukrainian, actually.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that because they didn't want to speak Russian. Mm-hmm. Because obviously, that makes sense.
Obviously, after Soviet Union, most of the cities were actually mostly Russian-speaking. Also considering the fact that my hometown is a Jewish hometown. Like, my hometown is a very big Jewish community. It's the biggest Jewish community in Ukraine, which is actually the reason why Russia bombed it last. Because they didn't want to seem like Nazis.
Oh, I see.
But it was mostly Russian-speaking, as well as this, like, side of Ukraine. But after the beginning of the war, people felt such like, hatred towards everything Russian, so people stopped talking Russian. So a lot of people switched to Ukrainian.
Okay. And I know that you living in America now?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand... I probably know why the answer to this question and everything, but how come you don't speak Ukrainian here? You usually speak Russian here. So even in the house, even when you're talking to your parents or whatever, and you're teaching Luca how to speak Russian. Luca is Lada's baby brother. He's 2 years old. He doesn't know English yet, but they're teaching him Russian first. So how come you're teaching Luca Russian first, and you're speaking with your parents in Russian, and your aunts and your grandma and everything like that? How come you guys can still? I mean, Russia. You guys don't like Russia and what they're doing to your home country, right? So how come you guys are speaking Russian in your community? I understand why you would probably speak Russian in the public, because Russian is more known and versatile language with Armenians and all of those people, right? So how come you guys choose to speak Russian in your household, within your family?
Well, because as I said, we all used to speak Russian because we grew up in this Jewish hometown. I grew up in this Jewish hometown, so my first language was Russian, and then later on I learned Ukrainian in school. So we're all fluent in Ukrainian, even though we speak Russian.
And you mentioned
But-
that they're two similar languages, but they're also very different, right?
Yeah, like all Ukrainians know Russian and Ukrainian, and Russians do not know Ukrainian. So it's not like if you know one, you'll know the other.
Okay.
It's just you have to know both. But the reason, like, we started speaking Ukrainian with my mom actually when the beginning of the war was, but then my dad just doesn't speak Ukrainian really. So that's why. So, like,
Your dad doesn't speak Ukrainian?
yeah, so we had to, even though me and my mom really like speak Ukrainian, we can speak Ukrainian. My dad was like, no, and then obviously we're not gonna teach Luca the language that dad doesn't really speak. But
Okay.
yeah,
And then how about your I know that you've changed since living in America, so talking more about local community and yourself in this local community. I know that since for sure since we've met and everything, you have been speaking more English and everything like that. So, and it's more noticeable that you don't have an accent anymore, because when I first met you, you had a thicker accent, just a tad bit thicker of an accent, but now you sound more American and you speak more English even when you talk to your parents and everything like that, which I know they are a little bit upset about and everything.
They get upset.
Yes. So, like, how try to reflect and try to tell me how you have changed within this local community.
Well, it just depends, like, on what language you speak more, and obviously it will change your accent and everything like that. Since I'm spending a lot of time with you, I'm obviously, like, defaulting into American accent now. And with, like, knowing multiple languages, you understand you change into the language when you stop translating it in your head. Like, you know how when you learn a language, you first try, like, translating it in your head into another language, and you think how you put the sentence in your head in your language,
yeah,
right?
you
And
translate
then you
within your
translate
head
it in
first and everything. Yes,
I don't translate. My line of thought goes in English, like,
I know.
as a default. Now, so that's, like, one change. Second change, you would start, like, forgetting either in Russian or in English, like, words, when speaking one or the other language.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that you prefer to speak in English now.
Sometimes
you even talk sleep talk in English, which your mom is found very surprising, because you used to always speak in Russian, sleep talking in Russian. Okay.
Yeah, and, like, the last language you speak in, you, like, have dreams in that language then, and then, like, yeah.
That's cool. That's really unique, actually. Because given that I'm not bilingual or anything like that, so I think that's really interesting. More about, like, the local, like, community-based questions and everything like that. What spaces have been lost or gained? Either physical spaces, cultural spaces, or economic spaces. You can talk, I mean, given that there's not much of a Ukrainian community here in LA and everything like that.
There's, like, one.
Yeah, I know.
House.
But, you could try to talk about both and everything, but, like, be like, definitely, like, separate the two when talking about both.
Like, wait, the lost and, like, you mean, like, a lot of communities is ruined in Ukraine because of the war and because of them being bombed, basically.
I would assume, for sure.
Like, there was this place in Ukraine. It was this, like, spa house, actually, where me and my family would always go and take sauna. And saunas are very, very, like, family bonding activities in Ukraine. Like, every winter season, you would go to saunas with your, like, whole family. And you guys would sit, drink tea with, like, honey and stuff like that. Go to the sauna, and then you would, like, go out and, like, jump into the Dnipro River. Like, frozen river. And that's, like, a bonding, like, family activity we do. But it was bombed. Like, the place that we used to go to, it was bombed, like, fully burned to nothing. And a lot of cities are now, like, literally just burned to the ground.
Yeah, you mentioned that there's literally, like...
No city there anymore.
Like, you know the scene that we watched in the Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Like that.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
and, like, no city. Here, though, I feel like here it's a little bit more, like... It's not like there's anything new opened, but pretty much, like, it's just the popularity of the place. It's like Ukrainian church that you've been to.
Yeah.
The Ukrainian church, like, Ukrainians come on, like, Easter and stuff like that. And then the Oh, and when the beginning of the war happened, the actual this community, Ukrainian community house, they actually made those gatherings when we would like pack first aid kits for the army and send them over. So the community is like trying to support each other, but Ukrainians and immigrants are not really that much together, I would say. But there is like Facebook group chats with all the immigrants and stuff like that, and they would like find jobs through that and everything like that. Yeah.
Okay. How have experiences of discrimination or acceptance evolved?
So basically, Ukrainians were like really accepted, especially at the beginning of the war, by like Europe. But right now, actually, a lot of like Europeans don't really like Ukrainians.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because, well, there's a lot of good Ukrainians, right? Like very like polite and everything like that.
I know, like you and your mom.
But obviously, like in every community, there's like at least like few cases of like not really nice Ukrainians.
Like yeah.
And they like build this like not such a good reputation.
Yeah.
Plus, like a lot of like Polish people started getting frustrated because Ukrainians would go there and take jobs.
Oh.
So obviously there's like less jobs for the Polish people because Ukrainian people are trying to get their money as well, so they're taking the jobs that Polish people would take, for example, or like in any other country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's like right now, like a little bit later, obviously we're getting a lot of support, but honestly like we're also starting to get a little bit of like frustration from the countries. But
how about
the Ukrainians have like no place to go.
I know. I'm aware of that. And how about specifically in America? Because I know that there's a huge issue with like the administration wanting to like.
Well, Ukrainians never had really like any immigrant in U.S. has no rights whatsoever. Like you don't get rights. And all the stuff, like all the documents take so long that you don't even have an ability to like have your driver license really, because to get your driver license you have to have your permanent
work permit, right?
No, not work permit. You're supposed to have your TPS, temporary protective status.
Mm-hmm.
But the TPS takes like a half a year to renew. So for this half of a year while you're waiting for your TPS to renew, you're like in between. You like don't have any document to show to legal forces to give you like driver license, because you're in waiting status. They're not gonna kick you out immediately, but you still don't have those documents to show to get some things.
I understand.
So you're stuck in this in between space. And obviously right now with ICE, you're scared of like even going to the airport.
Yeah, because you can't even. Okay, so to like focus more on how it's evolved and everything, would you say that in the beginning of the war and everything, and towards when you first arrived here and everything, because they had programs such as the U4U program, which
they
you
canceled it.
I know they canceled it, and I know that you're not on the U4U program.
No.
How would you say like the acceptance or discrimination has changed regarding that? Like, was it easier to come to America as a Ukrainian it's
actually
person?
Even easier at the beginning of the war.
That's what I was thinking, because it had programs that supported it. Yeah. And I remember there were people...
With Biden. Okay. So basically, before Biden, it was really hard. Then after Biden came to took the presidency, it was really easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got even more easy when the war started, because there was like so many more programs specifically for Ukrainians. But then when Trump came, it was like almost impossible right now to get it actually, while being somewhere, and it's like very hard to renew your documents or even have anything.
Okay, that I mean, I wouldn't doubt that, honestly. I mean, I would think
before when Trump used to be, it was also very hard to get.
Yes. Okay, so definitely it was a lot easier before, like when the
easiest was when the war just started.
So you would say that it's getting less accepted for Ukrainians to come to America and everything like that?
Yeah.
All right. And then how come, like, I understand that and everything. Why would certain people, and I know we had a brief conversation about this the other day or something like that, but how come some of Ukrainians, such as your nanny want to go back to Ukraine?
Oh, okay. So it's mostly
if they're already here
yeah.
and they're already quote unquote accepted and have they're on their program and everything like that, and they're legally here and everything. How come they would want to go back to Ukraine where there is an actual like live war right now?
So basically, it's mostly an issue with like an older generation of people. So like young adults and like I don't know, up to like even 60 years old probably they're fine. Or like 55, you know.
The people that are more accustomed and remember how Ukraine.
Also, people who are younger, they are more adjustable. I'd say they're gonna be finding new friends, learning new language, adjusting to a new environment. But older people, like those grandmas, those like stuff like that, they would have such issues with like learning the language, and because they would not be able to learn the language, they struggle connecting with people and struggle finding their like friend groups and stuff like that. And for them to move to a completely different country having no one with them, and especially like Slavic grandmas, they rely a lot on their friends. Okay,
no, I agree.
They have their little friend groups that they go on walks, I don't know, have their tea time together and whatever. And when they move, being that the half of their friends already probably dead, and then half of the other friends are just, I don't know, nowhere to be found now because they're in a different country. It's very hard for them to adjust. And since they also don't have school or work, because they're already retired, for them to find their own community is extremely hard. So those people, also, they don't care about their lives that much also. Because they're old.
They're older.
They're like, okay, we're going to be dying anyway. Sooner or later, we're going to die. I'd rather be in a situation where I would be dying in comfort of my own hometown where I'm used to everything, than be dying somewhere in a foreign land.
So that's why your nanny wants to leave.
Yeah.
She thinks that she's...
That's why my grandma is so depressed, because she also lost her husband, and now she's literally alone in the other country.
Yeah, no, I understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, your dad, your grandma and your grandpa came from your dad's side, together during the war, right?
Yes.
During the war, they moved to Florida, right?
Yes.
And then that's why, I see. So your grandpa just died recently.
Yeah.
Right when I started talking to you.
Yeah.
About a year ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So yeah, no, I understand that. I understand that kind of feelings and everything like that. So what traditions have been maintained? Or actually, wait. I am actually very curious, Lada. How has your experience in school been? Because especially in the beginning, because you had a thicker accent. Yeah. You and Kate, which is the only other Ukrainian girl in this district, you know?
Yeah, she came literally 2 months after me.
Yeah, you guys came at the same time, okay? You guys came from the same hometown, too, even though you guys never knew each other.
No, we were from the same hometown, but she grew up in Capital, and I didn't grow up in Capital.
Oh, really?
She grew up in Kiev. Mm-hmm. She was born in Dnipro, in my hometown, but then she moved and she had most of her life in Kiev. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, how has your personal experience been throughout, like, the American school system? Because I know the American school system, as a girl too, it's very rough. It can be really rough, especially as someone who may not fit in and everything. How has your experience been? Have you been accepted or discriminated because of your accent or your background?
Actually, that's a good comparison with me and Kate, because we adjusted very differently just because of our personalities. Back in Ukraine, because first time I went to America was when I was like 9. Mm-hmm. So I kind of liked the American thoughts, basically, American values, let's say that. And I was very, very liberal, okay? I was very liberal back in Ukraine, and I was like, I was against racism, I was against sexism, I was against homophobia, and it was all in Ukraine, okay?
I know.
Because our, Ukrainian communities are very, you're a girl, you need to find yourself a husband, okay, and stuff like that, and I was very against that, because it just didn't fit me, even though I wasn't officially out even at that time, but it just didn't feel right. So I was more on TikTok and stuff like that, It was 8th grade, right? So it was like I was on TikTok. I was on American TikTok most of the time. And I wasn't that bad with English, but I wasn't speaking it, but I could understand like videos on TikTok and stuff like that. Which is the reason why my English got improved so fast, because I just caught it through like movies and TikToks and media and stuff like that. And because I was consuming so much American media, I got this American mentality in a way. Mm-hmm. Well, Kate, even still, she still watches movies in Russian. She still is on like Russian part of the
she's
media.
She has a thicker accent too. Yeah. So it depends on like the personal on each person how they experience their transition from Ukraine and America. Yeah. But you specifically were...
Mine was very easy because literally I came and I found my friend like literally the first
Yeah, you feel you were more accepted, but as well as Yeva too, right? Your cousin.
Yeah. Because Yeva also was like very much into Asian culture, like as back in Ukraine as well. And since we moved to the Asian neighborhood, it was easier for her to like talk about her animes or whatever with some people.
So it depends on the person, but for you and Yeva and your cousin, you guys pretty much felt accepted, and it was easier of a transition, but it can be harder for other people to have a transition, an accepted transition to America, right? Yeah. Okay. But for sure, there's no like discrimination. No one's calling you anything.
Well, no one was calling me anything, but for sure, like at the beginning of, I was the first Ukrainian who was ever enrolled in what is it?
The PvP-USD district?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I mean, the Svet?
Oh, he was born here.
Oh.
So he was not Ukrainian. Like, he knows Ukrainian but he was born here.
So he's American.
I was the first one. Yeah, I was the first one who got here and like.
Yeah, you're the first native Ukrainian person to be enrolled in the district.
And he moved like at the age of like teenage age.
Yeah.
So a lot of interest was towards me, and a lot of people would come to me and just ask about that and never
speak
to me ever again.
Yeah.
Like they would just literally come up to me, ask me about whatever, like Ukrainian, not Ukrainian, how I moved, and then like literally not speak to me ever again.
Yeah, you told me about how like there's random people that you would be in your class, and you would tell me that that person went up to me while okay, wait, take a phone call.
Okay. Да, мам. Да, мам.
Как дела, что делаешь?
Хорошо, мы делаем Лайзалкиной домашку, мне надо сдать ей интервью. Поэтому не особо могу разговаривать. Мы записываем.
Ну, я 2 секунды просто, чтобы вы подготовились. Я сейчас приеду, мы будем мыть мою машину от последствий матча.
Окей.
Поэтому смотрите, как выводить мочепятна с сидений.
Окей, а потом вы можете твою машину отвезти, твою штуку и поехать в спортзал?
Да, может.
Окей, спасибо.
Они засрали, да, Диван? Давай.
Oh wait, so, all right.
Does it keep going?
Yeah, it's still on. What traditions have been maintained or adapted? So this is strictly for the local community, for in PV or whatever, in LA area, wherever. In California, let's say. Because, yeah.
Okay, so I'd say food, actually. Because food is a big part of, like, our traditions. And, like, the food that we eat is very important for us. The issue here is that American food is so much different. Like, even the things that are going to be the same, like milk, so different. Cottage cheese, so different. Any ingredients are so different here, so most of our dishes don't even work. Like we have those called sirniki, which is like little cheesecakes that you fry on the pan. They would fall apart with the ingredients that Americans have.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of our recipes had to be adjusted to the American way, or a lot of people started making their own cottage cheese or stuff like that.
Oh, I see.
Gladly, there's some Russian markets around.
Like John's?
John's is not really, because there's not actually none of the Russian stores nearby. John's is the closest one.
John's is it's not even Russian. It's like
not. It's just American. It's an American store that has surprisingly a lot of Slavic imported products.
Yes, but it's like it's not just Slavic too. It's just other things like, right? It's other things like. imported goods from Iran, right? Whatever, like all those other type of Middle East countries and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, and Turkey too.
Yeah.
They have some imported goods from there.
Also, a big thing about Ukrainians is that our culture is mostly mixed. So each family will have their own stuff. Because of the Soviet Union, a lot of Ukrainians had experience living in, like, Tajikistan. Like, my mom was born, actually, in Tajikistan.
Mm-hmm.
My mom wasn't even born in Ukraine. So, she had a big chunk of her life spent there. So we have a lot of recipes that are family recipes that are actually not even Ukrainian. They're more like Tajikistan. And then stuff like that.
Any other traditions? I know you guys have your tradition for Easter and everything like that.
Yeah. Also had to adjust stuff for that because in Ukraine you would have so many relatives, and actually on Easter you would make up to like 50 cakes, Easter cakes.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have to like make 10. So the recipe for 50, actually the original recipe takes like 50 egg yolks.
Yeah.
So we cannot use it anymore.
So you guys just make you guys just for food and everything like that for
adjustments.
You just make a lot of adjustments so that you can still have your Ukrainian thing, like foods and everything, but it's still not the same.
And traditions as well, like going to sauna.
That's a tradition?
Yeah, we go to, like, yes, it's like a Ukrainian family thing.
Really? Oh yeah, you mentioned.
People, actually saunas in Ukraine, we're like, from Finland, Finns.
The Finns, yeah.
Yeah. The Finns actually value saunas as well as us. Like, they cannot live without saunas. So, saunas are actually, like, family gatherings, fucking business meetings. Men in Ukraine would go to sauna to discuss, like, business.
Yeah, like what your dad does.
Yeah.
On his Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Where he comes home late.
Yeah.
Okay, so any other traditions? I'm trying to think about any other traditions that I was able to
There is Ivana Kupala, which is the day when you have to submerge yourself in, like, river water.
Yeah. Oh, you mentioned this, but you guys don't do that, right?
Yeah, and also that same day you get to, like, read the future, do a little witchcraft stuff.
A little witchcraft? Is that just your family? Because I know your mom...
Ukrainians are well known, like, back in the days, for girls especially, it's just girls. Girls who, like, would read future,
and use crystals and everything like that.
Use crystals, use, like, strings, use mirrors.
So that thing that you do and everything, that crystal thing and thing that your mom does as well, that's something that's actually like a cultural thing from Ukraine.
My grandma actually, the one that you like.
Yeah.
She actually did. She had, like, a spirit board later on.
Really?
Yeah. And she actually would connect, like, she would try to connect with, like, spirits and stuff.
And also, let me talk more about religious stuff, because I know your mom put you in a church choir back then in Ukraine and everything, and obviously you're not in one anymore. You're in just a regular choir. Yeah. But is it like I know that Dnipro was a Jewish community, mainly Jewish community, yes. But how were there any religious, like, practices within your hometown?
Yeah. Of course.
And then how have they maintained or adapted here?
So, basically religious practices. Well, we had a big Jewish community, so we had a synagogue. For Jewish people who practice Jewish religion. But for us, it was Christian, right? We were Orthodox. Most of Ukrainians are Orthodox Christians, okay? So our church is much more strict than American church.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So to enter the church, you have to have your head covered if you're married.
Yes.
You have to have your, like, long skirt.
Yeah, when we went to Easter and everything, you had to wear your thing, right? You, out of respect, honestly.
I was wearing Ukrainian traditional clothes, which is vyshyvanka.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have to, like, wear traditional clothing, whatever, and you have to be very respectful to the priest. You cannot talk to him like regular.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in America you guys would talk to priests more casually.
Yeah, I text my priest.
Exactly. We don't do that. Like,
they're more considered like a sacred thing.
Yeah, more sacred thing, more like you would tell him all the sins that you do, right? But you would not just, like, text your priest. Like,
you still do that whenever you go to. I know you don't really go to church and everything like that, but does your mom do that or anything?
Actually, the priest here that we have is, like, more calm, like, more chill.
More American.
More American for sure, but he's still more, like, we have to pay more respect to our priest.
Is your priest actually Ukrainian or Russian?
Yeah, our priest. We go to. There is a Russian church, and actually, Russian church here is very fucking for war.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually have like
I know that your mom mentioned
they
that to me.
Because Russian church actually is supporting war.
Wow.
And Putin. And they
Is
have
it
like
because they're Russian?
flag. They have like a Russian flag, like war symbol.
I also know that your mom mentioned how.
Yeah.
Your mom mentioned to me one time when we were talking about how, a lot of Russians who did not agree with the war refused to go to those churches and are now at different churches.
But our church is not even has anything to do with the war. Ours is just Ukrainian, and just Ukrainians go there.
Yeah.
Obviously we wear like traditional attire, but it has nothing to do with the war. Honestly.
Do they speak in... Now, when we went to that church and everything, do they speak... Was it Ukrainian that they were speaking or Russian? Ukrainian.
Yeah, and Ukrainians actually have a thing. Whenever you see anyone Ukrainian in public, you would try to switch to Ukrainian.
Yes, I know.
Just for them to not think you're Russian and not to really hate you.
I've noticed that you guys do that at the cafe. At your mom's cafe and everything when we work. I've noticed that. I mean, it's also easy for me to spot like a Ukrainian or a Russian, a Slavic person.
Yeah.
And so that's why I usually like, oh, she's gonna help you, thanks, and everything. And I noticed that you guys switch. But do you guys switch to Ukrainian or Russian?
Depends on who is in front of us. Like if we
How could you tell?
So basically you'd go to Russian as a default, okay?
Uh-huh.
Because it doesn't matter if it's Ukrainian or Russian, they'll answer you if you speak Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Even like Armenian, they'll speak Russian for sure.
Yeah.
Okay? If you see an Armenian person who is more than 30, he'll speak Russian.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was gonna say? But if you speak Ukrainian, then you have to be sure it's a Ukrainian person, not a Russian, and not an Armenian person in front of you.
You have to make sure. How do you make sure?
You can ask them.
Oh, I
can't
see.
really
Oh,
tell.
that's why I would hear your mom say, "Oh, are you Ukrainian?" And okay, so you guys, it's not like an automatic. Oh, I know for a fact that you're Ukrainian, so I'm not even gonna speak in Russian. You speak in Russian, or you just ask. Yeah. You notice that they're Slavic, and you ask whether or not they're Ukrainian.
Yeah, because if you speak to Ukrainian, they'll be fine if you speak with them in Russian.
I know. I'm aware.
So they don't care, especially if you're just ordering coffee. Honestly.
Yeah, and that's in America. But if you were in Ukraine or in Europe or anything, and you talk to some Slavic person in Russian and they were actually Ukrainian, would they be offended or no?
They would not be offended. They can actually, like, if Ukrainian really wants to switch to Ukrainian, they'll just start speaking to you in Ukrainian.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's in Ukraine and they speak Ukrainian, you just, like, start talking to them in Russian, and if you see them answering in Ukrainian, you'll switch to Ukrainian. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not that strict, honestly.
I see. Okay, so this last question, it's a very important question, because I know there's a lot of... You guys... have different types of relationships with different other ethnic communities. So how has the relationship with other ethnic communities evolved? And I'm most interested in how in Ukrainians and Russians. But you could also talk about Iranians, Armenians and everything like that, and everything, or even Americans. But you already talked briefly about Americans, how they treat you guys. But how has the relationship with other ethnic communities evolved?
So, basically, at the beginning of the war, there was a big hatred towards Russians. Like, big, big hate. And there's still big, big hate. You know how, like, it's basically how Jewish and, like, German people will still forever have sort of, beef, beef in between each other because so many of our people died because of them. But Ukrainians are, like... We don't hate immediately unless person really shows themselves to be like a very Russian, especially in California. A lot of Russians that are pro Russia stayed in Russia. You know what I mean?
Oh, they didn't want to go anywhere else?
Yeah. Obviously. So most of the Russians that ended up moving here, that means they either didn't like the government, so they decided to move away from the government. Either they're, like, gay, because you know how it's illegal to be gay?
Yeah.
That you can get actually in jail together with murder, like, killers, if you're gay. Either they're gay, either they're against the government, either they're spoke up against the government, and now they're counted as what is it?
Outlaws?
Agent.
Oh, agents. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So most of the Russians that moved are actually like against the Russia government.
Yeah.
That's why we don't really beef much with Russians that are here unless they specifically
Like be holding Russian flags and be like, oh, Ukrainians suck and everything like that. Okay.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the Ukrainians here and the Russians vibe pretty well, right? They jive pretty well.
Depends on what Russians, what Ukrainians, but yeah.
Like the good Russians, the Russians that are not for the war and everything like that.
Yeah.
They are very accepting of Ukrainians. And do you guys ever like integrate? Do you guys ever like mix together or anything like that?
Not like in there's Slavic communities when everyone mixes, like Ukrainians, Russian, Armenian,
Yeah, because
Polish, doesn't fucking matter.
Isn't your cousin Katya? Isn't she with a Russian?
Yeah, she's probably gonna marry a Russian guy. Yeah, he's from Russia.
And he's from Russia. But he's not for the war, obviously.
He's obviously not for the war, but he grew up in Russia.
Actually. He grew up in Russia. Did he move because of the war, or
no,
because he didn't like it?
He moved before.
Did he not like? He just didn't like.
He just didn't like it.
Okay. Okay. And then any other relationships with Armenians? Because I know our hairstylist is Armenian. She tries her best to speak Russian and everything like that, but her Russian's pretty good. So Armenians, Polish people. Your best friend is Polish. How about the relationships between those different Slavic people?
So my Polish friend, obviously, we all the Slavic people kind of like hang out with each other because we understand the foods, the traditions. We just understand each other better.
Yeah.
A lot of like Polish, like Julia, the way she wants to marry a Polish guy in the future, even though she lives in America.
She wants to. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like a lot of people want to marry into like a. Actually, I'm literally the only person in my family who is dating an American or like a Filipino, an other culture. Like all my other cousins are dating either Ukrainians who moved here, either Russians who moved here, or like literally like Slavic people.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So mostly they try to like, you know how Asians try to kind of marry into Asians, stuff like that. Like Koreans try to find a Korean, you know.
Yeah.
So there is this thing going on as well. Mostly, but yes, we talk a lot because also like the reason we have hairstylists and nail techs, whatever, that do our nails, all of them are either Russian, Ukrainian, or Armenian.
I noticed that your mom tends to go towards Russian, Slavic people
because they make our nails the way we used to do them.
Oh, not just hair and nails, but like I mean, even
they do it the way we have them in Ukraine. Because actually, you would think it's all same, whatever, nail polish, right?
No, it's not all the same.
But
there's different
they
types of things.
do it specifically the way we like it, and it's just very specific the way. Also, our nails are different from like other cultures' nails. Like our hair is specific to our culture because of the genetics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you know how a black woman would not go to a white stylist because the white stylist is not gonna know how to style her curls.
Yeah.
The same way we just go to our community because they just do us better.
Okay, true. How come? But I've noticed that your mom tends to go towards Slavic or more Ukrainian, Russian-speaking individuals for cosmetics and everything like that. But how come she also goes towards that different demographic for almost everything? She even our lawyer for that car accident is Russian-speaking.
Okay, so that's because we do our business a little bit differently as well.
Really? So you guys just understand
also connections, okay? Because you know how in America you guys have like connections with each other, like you know your friend who will do this for you and they'll do the best thing for you and they'll get as much money out of it as you can, for like lawyer. We have connections, but we have connections with Slavics because as Slavics we be like, okay, so you do that, okay, good, like we know we can have like rely on you, right? So
you guys find more trust in Slavic, Russian.
no, it was just
people?
because we know how to have those connections. Like
You know
a
how
little
to
bit
have
of a
those
special treatment. A little bit of a special.
Just because you're Russian speaking.
Yeah, because we have like friends of friends of friends. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So basically, because I've noticed that specifically with your family, your mom, like, and your dad and stuff like that, you guys gear towards having more relationships with Russian-speaking individuals and other types of like that sort of demographic. However,
medicine as well, yeah. Doctors as well.
However, there are other Ukrainians and stuff like that. That, like, your aunt, she has some Russian friends and everything like that, but she's actually more interested in having American, like, friends.
She's not, like, more interested. She has a lot of Russian, Ukrainian friends. It's just,
because of the daughter?
Because, yeah, for Yeva, because Yeva is in cheer, and she's friends with the cheer parents, and they're just Hispanic or Russian, American. Just because of that. But mostly she has Ukrainian friends, actually. Like, you know how we got your tattoo from a Ukrainian girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all just connections. It's just all, like, we know a friend of a friend that knows a friend of a friend, blah, blah, blah. Oh. And because, as I told you, is, like, all usually, like, married into Russians and Ukrainians, and all these.
So it's just connections, the way that... So even now, post, like, even now after the war has been going on for so long and everything like that, you guys still trust, like, your Ukrainians and Slavic individuals more so than the people that actually are from America and California, right?
Yeah. For doctors as well. Because they do...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Because you know how in American culture, they prescribe you some things that you don't need.
Yes, I know that your mom does
Our
not...
medical ideas in Ukraine and Russia are different from what you guys do.
Yes,
also,
I understand that.
Also, like, a lot of Ukrainians are anti-vaccination.
Yes.
So a lot of Slavic doctors actually do fake vaccinations for them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of Slavics, you don't be sure they have those vaccinations.
So the relationships that you make and you've had already and that you make while in this new community, you know, is based off of connections. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so I think that's all my questions for now, LADA. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways,
yeah. You should ask my mom then.
I have to talk to your mom, but first say that, because in this audio recording, I refer to you as LADA. Yeah. Because that's your American name, but your actual name is Vladislava.
Vladislava Anatolievna Nasser.
What?
That's my full name.
Nosar?
Nasser.
Nasar? Oh, so it's pronounced differently too?
Yeah.
Interesting. Also, briefly talk about how even names are different.
Oh, yeah. So my first name is the same as first name would be, Vladislava, which the story of the name is you can separate it into Vlada and Slava, which is glory and power. Mm-hmm. And then in Ukraine, your middle name does not exist. So your middle name will be your dad's name, but it will be like conjugated. So my dad is Anatoly, so my middle name is Anatolievna.
So because it's feminine.
Because I'm a girl, yeah.
Yeah, and that's also your angel name, right? Or no?
No, my angel name is Vladislav, which is my name, but because my name is actually like a guy's name, but it's just made feminine.
Yeah, and then so that cultural like tradition for names,
middle names, taking your dad's name
for just names in general and everything. That's since you guys moved to America and everything. That completely has changed, right?
Most of Ukrainians that move and they have hard names, they would change and choose like American names.
I know, but even
like my Ksusha, Senya,
Casey or something like that. No, I totally understand it because a lot of people don't. I mean,
yeah, Asians also choose like
yeah, like it's fine. I understand that, but it's the act of naming a child. So when your parents named you, they named you Vladislava, and then it was your middle name, your
I don't
like
choose
quote unquote
that. You don't choose that.
You know, quote unquote middle name and everything like that, and then your last name. Now, America, we don't do that. that way. You can choose the name, you can choose the middle name, and you can choose the last name, okay?
Mhm.
So, like, for an example, when you guys moved here and your baby brother was born in America, so he's a
Yes.
citizen here.
Yes.
Your parents named him Luca, gave him a middle name, Finn,
Yeah.
and then have the last name Nosar and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know how Kate's little sister, how her name is made and everything.
Yeah, they did also middle name without.
So you're saying that like the naming of a child is different from, it's like different from the culture in Ukraine, ever since you moved to America. So you guys chose to integrate the American tradition / like culture of naming a kid.
Yeah, because actually in Ukraine you don't have a choice.
Oh, you don't have a choice either.
You just have to. You have choice of the name, but you don't have a choice of the taking or not taking your husband's name as the middle name of your child. It's like a belongingness of your child to the husband.
Okay.
Like,
so your parents,
I am his daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, because I know briefly about all this because we already had a conversation about this, but so your mom, I know your mom always wanted your little brother to have the name Luca, right?
Yeah, she
And
always wanted to say Ukrainian
did she
Cossack
always
name.
did she always want to have a middle name? Did she want to have a middle name for you like back then? But was
No.
no? Did she?
It's not a thing.
I know, but now I mean she made the choice to give a middle name to Luca.
Yeah, because it was an option, so she was like, okay, let's think about the middle name. So I actually was the one who came up with an idea for the middle name for Luca, and she just liked it.
So it was just you guys just wanted to, because you guys know the American culture of it.
Yeah.
So just you guys, we have the option, so why not?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that's pretty much it. So thank you, sweetheart. All right.